This is Olde Swords Reign. It's a cut down and simplified version of 5th edition with an old school flavour, and I'm going to take you through character creation to give you a bit of an idea how it works. So you roll your stats on 3d6 for each one. You can roll them and assign them as you like, or you can roll them down the line depending, and then you work out your modifiers for each of them, and then you decide what race you want to be. And you can choose human, elf, dwarf or halfling, the usual suspects, and each one gives you special bonuses. So with a human you can choose 2 ability scores to increase by 1, and you get your normal walking speed, tells you what sort of age you reach adulthood, what size you are, what languages, and your saving throw proficiency. So as a human I've got a choice of where to put my proficiency bonus for my saving throws, so I've picked dexterity and wisdom because I'm not very good at either of those, so I can do all the help I can get. And I'm going to be a fighter, so I get lots of hit points. So you start with your maximum plus your constitution modifier. It makes it clearer elsewhere in the rules that it's the modifier and not the con score. So I shall start with 8 plus 2 hit points, and each time you level up you roll your d8 and add your constitution modifier again. So I get 8 plus 1, and that's 9. So we've got our hit points sorted out, and we have some proficiencies here. We can deal with light armour, medium armour, heavy armour and shields. We're good with those. And we have proficiency with simple weapons and martial weapons. So we get a +2 bonus as a level 1 character with any of those weapons. And our saving throws for being a fighter, we get proficiency with strength and constitution. Now you can either choose to go with this list of equipment here, or you can roll 4d4 times 10 in the case of a fighter, and buy your own equipment from the list later in the book. And we also get an ability score increase. In our case we increase our strength by 1. Now we have all our equipment and our weapons and our armour. We're going to take a fighter feat, which we get at level 1, and we're going to go for weapon focus for our sword, I think. So we gain +1 attack bonus with 1 weapon, repeatable with different weapons. So yep, +1 with our sword. Now we can choose or roll randomly for a background. Now that will give us our proficiency bonus when we try to do anything related to that background. So what is our background? 17. We are a smith. So we can write that in there, and whenever we do anything related to smithery, we get a proficiency bonus. And like good old 5e, we have passive perception, which is 10 plus our wisdom modifier and our proficiency bonus if applicable, and we do have proficiency with wisdom, so we get a +1, so that's 11 total for our passive perception. And very kindly, for finishing our character we gain an inspiration, so that will come in handy. That enables us to roll with advantage in any particular check we want to do. And the game also has a breather, which means after a fight you can roll a d4, applying your constitution modifier, and you can also do a short rest, which would involve spending a hit die, and you get as many hit dice as you have level, so I would have 1, and you can do a long rest as well. So anything to try and keep you alive. And the game also shares initiative with 5e, so you would roll a d20 and apply your dexterity modifier, and the GM would roll the d20 and apply the monster's own dexterity modifier. Highest goes first, working your way down to the lowest. And there is a table for random encounters, and also monster reactions, and you have a good selection of monsters with all their stats that you'll need in the book. The illustrations are pretty nice throughout as well. Nice selection of monsters that are going to be handy for using with any OSR adventure you might want to convert, which would not take too much effort with this game. Cool. And if our new hero needs a quest, perhaps it could be from one of these Deck of Stories NPC booster packs here. So if I shuffle these without looking and pick someone at random, by going halfway through the deck, and who is this? Okay, Fiora Bandega, a human. Confident and caring, Fiora has always been a leader at heart. She would rather make a personal sacrifice than see others get hurt. Fiora's inspiring words can sway even the gloomiest pessimist or hard-nosed skeptic. Fiora has a bleeding heart for those who appear to be less fortunate. Her compassion clouds her judgment when the devious try to exploit her. Fiora wants to bring peace and equality to the world. She will help however she can. More than once Fiora has shed blood for a worthy cause. She is not proud of her violent past. So I wonder what kind of quest she could have for us. So we're going to grab a D100 and Table Fables 1 for the moment, just to come up with a name for our character. That's an 18, that is Deron. Well, I'm thinking that Fiora would like us to rescue someone or something like that. Someone's in trouble. She wants to put her violent past to one side, so we are a mercenary for hire or a wandering hero. But let's roll for a quest and see if it sort of fits into that. So we've got a 59. Party member realises something is wrong when they are physically unable to enter sacred ground and take damage from holy auras. Someone has sold the character's soul to a demon and the demon is coming to collect. So perhaps some otherworldly entity, or perhaps somebody that Fiora has fought against, some evil character, has used dark powers to bring about a curse, and she is stricken with this curse and needs us to help lift it. So I'm thinking maybe some kind of magical item could perhaps try and lift this curse, and I'm going to go to another Madeline Hale masterpiece and roll red, orange, yellow to try and see what it might be, get a suggestion maybe. 6, 7, 8. Make that 9, 7, 8 because of the dot there. Now 978 is Strange Tarot Cards, a set of strange tarot cards in a system no one has seen before. Written in a language that no one can read, this object does not appear to be enchanted. No one knows where this object came from or why it came to be. Now what that suggests to me is that the evil entity that caused this curse has their sort of soul in these tarot cards, and if they're destroyed, then that entity will be destroyed and the curse will be lifted. I can't think of that word. What is it? Phylactery, Horcrux, something like that. That's what it is. So we need to find those cards, destroy them, and our patron will be released from her curse. So as we head out towards some old wizard's tower or HQ, hideout, whatever it was, we're going to have a road event as we make our way there. and that will be a 62, which will be the road ahead is overgrown with poison ivy. So I'm going to grab some extra little bits of scenery from Quest: A Time of Heroes, because it's full of useful little things like campfires and trees and pools and all sorts of stuff. So this is the only way to get to where we need to go, and we need to fight our way through it. Now we get our difficulty classes here. So for very easy, we're rolling for a 4, easy an 8, normal a 12, hard at 16, and very hard at 20. So I think if we're going to try and hack through these with our sword, we will get our attack bonus. We need to work out their armour class or difficulty class that they're going to have. And I think a 12 is probably about right, because you know, a normal person's armour class is a 10. Perhaps these poisoned thorns and stuff are a little bit tricky to deal with, so we'll give it a 12. And if we miss, then there's a very high chance that we're going to get poisoned by these things, so we'll see how that goes. But with our attack with our sword, we're going to get a +4, and we're trying to get a 12. We just make it, so we managed to hack our way through safely without getting poisoned. And that means I don't have to look up the rules for poison. Now it looks pretty dark down here, so we're going to light one of our 6 torches and make our way carefully down the steps, looking out for any sinister traps or hideous monsters that we need to be aware of. So we're going to roll in Table Fables 2 to find out what's happening in this room. As we head into the dungeon, that is an 8, that is empty. That's not very exciting. Heading further into the next chamber, we find an enemy encounter on page 43. So, number of enemies, 15, D4 enemies, okay. 4 enemies. What is their mood, whatever they are? Disinterested. So while I've got Quest: Time of Heroes out, I'll use a few orcs from that game, and they're disinterested, so that sort of suggests to me that they are, perhaps they're using it as this is a bit of a hideout, but they're not particularly paying attention. Perhaps they're having a meal, perhaps they're dozing a bit, and so I may be able to sneak past without getting into a fight with them, but I'm going to have to beat their passive perception, which, looking at their stats, they get a +1 to what would be a 10, so that would be an 11 I would need to beat. So my dex is not great. I get a -2 actually. Wow, that's really bad. Now here we go, their passive perception is actually 10. It's listed down here. So we're dealing with a -2 to try and get 10. Yeah. Oh yes. So we do manage to sneak past the orcs into the next chamber. So going once again into Table Fables 2. This new area, this is empty, so we move on. And perhaps moving into the deeper parts of the wizard's old hideout. Perhaps they're a little bit more sturdy and haven't deteriorated so much. We are going to re-roll that because we don't want everything to be empty. 17, event or encounter, page 64. So we're rolling a D100. 93. That is a large unavoidable section of floor is very noisy. If the floor is rock or stone, it is coated in a fine layer of dead plants or gravel. If the floor is wooden, either the floorboards are squeaky or there is a scattering of broken glass. Perhaps broken glass would make sense, because perhaps this was once the wizard's laboratory and all of his vials of glass and things have been smashed, perhaps by the orcs. Perhaps they were looking for beer or something and they smashed all these glass things. So we need to sneak across, and sneaking is not our thing. We may draw the attention of a monster if we don't manage to make it. So I'm going to give it a normal difficulty rating of 12, and we're going to roll with our terrible our terrible dexterity of -2. Whoa, that's good. Okay, we step around the broken glass. So as we bring this quick adventure to a conclusion, we are going to have to face off against some kind of monster, I think, as we reach the wizard's inner sanctum. Some creature has taken up residence here, and we're going to have to defeat it probably, and in order to get our hands on this tarot card deck, which we need to destroy. So let's have a look at what kind of monsters we could take on. Right, I'm thinking Bugbear. He's probably the leader of these orcs, and he's rummaging around in the wizard's inner sanctum to try and find more interesting things in vials and bottles. So I think there's a chance, with us sneaking through the previous room, I think there's a chance we might be able to sneak up on him, even though he is a bugbear who are very good at sneaking themselves. Now, when it comes to damage, you can roll a die for the monster when it does damage, or you can take a predetermined average. So the bugbear's predetermined average is 4, and its damage is 1d8, but it doesn't say anything about adding its strength modifier to the damage. So I'll probably roll 1d8 plus 2 for its strength when it hits me. But anyway, we're going to try and sneak up on it and try and let's say we're coming in here, maybe he's over here rummaging around, and we're going to try and beat his passive perception of 10 with our dex of -2, and if we do, we'll be able to get a surprise attack maybe. And we do not, so we will roll initiative normally. So we roll for ourselves. Oh wow, that's 5. And the bugbear gets +2, so I think we can safely say that he is going first. So if each of these squares is 10 feet, as I'm going to say it is, for the sake of playing with the movement, we can move 30 feet per round. So 10, 20, 30. And he starts winding up with his morning star to try and hit us. But we are going to we're going to try and be tactical in our turn and go 10, 20, and we're going to shoot with our crossbow. So let's see. So we're going to fire our crossbow. Our shield is currently strapped to our arm, and our sword is on our belt as while we shoot this, so we get no modifier on this. 10, that is not enough. So that's our first attack, and we miss. Now the bugbear is going to move in. 10, 20. Yeah, I should have rolled with advantage. I should have used my inspiration, but I didn't. So the bugbear gets a +3 to hit. Oof. Okay. It rolls d8, and I'm saying for this I'm going to add its strength. 4 damage. We're down to 5 hit points. So there are a number of actions we can do alongside our main action and movement. So and that includes drawing a sword. With us firing that two-handed crossbow, I'm thinking we've probably got our shield on our back, I would have thought. So what I'm going to do is drop the crossbow, draw my sword with two hands and let him have it. Now I'm going to cash in my inspiration and roll with advantage. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Thank goodness I used the inspiration. So that is a hit. His AC is 12. So I'm rolling a d8 and I'm adding plus 1 for my strength. That's 6 damage. He's down to 10 hit points. The Bugbear swings his Morning Star, and our armour class for this is 12 because our shield is on our back. So let's see what he gets. Ooh, 15. This could be another TPK. D8 plus 2. That is 3. We're down to 2 hit points. Now light is something I always tend to forget. So I'm thinking what we probably did was set our torch in the ground by the door before we entered and drew our two-handed crossbow. So what I'm thinking of doing is going down to grab the torch, and these bottles he's been rummaging through, maybe getting one of those and trying to set fire to him. So I think that will take a dex check, and yeah, I'm going to give it a 12. I'm just going to go with a normal rating, so we get a plus 0 to this to see if we can do that and try and set fire to him. Oh, we make it. So 15. Let's see. So looking at the flask of oil rules, which is what we're kind of dealing with, we leap and grab the torch and one of these bottles that he's been rummaging through, and we're going to try and throw it at him and set fire to him using a dex check, an ordinary missile check. So we're heading for a 12 if we can, and that's a 14. So he takes d6 fire damage, which is 2. Not all I may have hoped for, but that will happen once per round. So as I've set him on fire and his hit points are halved, I'm going to make him do a morale check. So he gets plus 0 for his wisdom, and I'll use a normal difficulty class. Ooh. And that's a 2. He didn't want none of this. He's on fire. He's quite damaged from that, and so I think he's going to run off and look for some water. He's just going to push past me and try and find some water, giving me a chance to go for the treasure. So as I search the chest, as well as the tarot cards, which I'm about to set fire to with my torch, I'm going to go to Table Fables 2 to see if there's anything else in here from the treasure table. And a 20, that is a large music box painted with spring pond scenes. So that could probably be worth quite a bit of money. Now, all I have to do is find my way out without running into a burning bugbear. But the curse is lifted, and we've saved the day, and this is a neat little system. It's a good sized book, nice and thick, and plenty of useful stuff in there. I think it's pretty neat. Plenty of monsters that you can use, magic items, notes for converting monsters from 5e, and these neat environments at the back here which show you what kind of monsters live in different environments, what are likely to show up, and yep, pretty cool.